How you guys doing? My name is Ralph Mims. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the Village of Los Lunas. Been with the Village about 2.5 years. Glad to be here. This is a great community, second fastest growing city in the state. But before I blabber on, I'd like to have everyone stand up and
One at a time?
talk about yourself.
Stand up.
That's right.
No, okay, so if you want to stay there.
Oh, no, I can stand up, you know me.
What we're trying to do is we're going to add a little bit more professionalism to our group,
Yes.
because when you are a home-based worker or any worker, you need to be able to articulate clearly what it is that you do.
That's true.
And so,
So he wants you to stand up.
yeah, if you
That's
don't
right,
mind.
the elevator speed.
And tell me what type of business
Yes.
you are involved with,
That's
home-based or
right.
non-home-based.
Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Sally Walton. I work for the Small Business Administration. I'm a federal employee. I am a procurement center rep, which means that I have 5, now 4, because they consolidated out at Kirtland, federal agencies that I try to match up their work to small businesses. I'm also a resident of Los Lunas, so I'm highly interested in getting the resident small businesses to do work with Kirtland. I also handle the subcontracting plans for Los Alamos and Sandia National Labs. So I know there's a lot of retired Sandia workers here, engineering, physicists, et cetera, that live in Los Lunas.
Really?
And I'm interested in finding those people so that they could start their own business.
We'll talk a little bit about that. We were talking about, because those are people that may not be the best at selling themselves, but they're good project people, so if you can give them a project to do.
And it's a green business for
Right.
Los Lunas. We're not building a factory. You can work from home, and right now there's a $2 billion industry with the federal government. It's called SIVR, Small Business Innovative Research. Right up the alley for these retired physicists and
We will be
engineers,
talking
et
more.
cetera.
Yes.
You gave us your contact information, and Ralph knows how to get a hold of you.
So I brought some paperwork with me. One is the 2013 Small Business Administration's resource booklet,
Okay.
specifically for New Mexico.
Oh.
If you're looking for financing, the SBA has back finance loans. If you're looking for information on how to start a business, and again, all of this is free, it's in the brochure. May the 8th and 9th, please spread the word. The convention center is hosting a veterans business and job fair. So it is free, open to the public. Parking is free at the convention center. No, the mayor graciously allowed, because this is such an event and we're trying to help our vets. And if you're not a vet, you're still welcome to come. There will be, last year, there were approximately 100 businesses there looking to partner up, looking for employees, looking for business.
Okay.
That's how we'd like to invite you in the future to come and speak at one of our.
Oh, don't get me on my podium.
You spoke before, but we'd like to invite you again. Are you do PowerPoint?
I can do PowerPoint.
Please, we are set up for PowerPoint.
Just let me know what you're looking for.
Fantastic.
Because my latest kick, okay, those of you that don't know, are you familiar with South El Cerro Loop, North El Cerro Loop? Everything east of the loop is a hub zone. So that's my next big push.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll have to do it. I would say this time to be a little shorter than hers.
I know, I'm
We'll never
sorry.
get out of our evening.
I'm short a lot of stuff here today. Jim Walter is my name, and I'm a resident of Los Chavez, and lived there, right at February is 10 years. And I'm retired construction. And that's it.
And any interest in doing home-based work?
A lot of interest of playing.
Ah, okay.
That's about it.
Okay.
And I'm Pat Waltner, related to this guy. I'm related to Tom. We're just here for curiosity's sake, and I'm a retired teacher. Maybe I'll find another business to go into, maybe not.
There you go.
Well, there's one thing you can do for us. When you leave here and you run into people you know, you can encourage them to become part of LiveWork Los Lunas. So that would be a nice thing to be an evangelist for. So even if it's
Get the word.
not starting, you can be a salesperson for us by just telling people to go online or come to the event. Dave.
My name's Dave Carlberg. I'm with the Small Business Development Center, and we work close with you. We are a partner with the SBA, and as well as with the state of New Mexico. And we work with new and existing businesses on any aspect of their business to draw up business plans and a variety of other things. So that's what we do. We're out at UNM Valencia, and I've got cards if anybody's interested.
I'm Sandy Shower. I own Montanita Publishing and Advertising Public Relations firm in Los Lunas. I've worked with a variety of clients, including the Village of Los Lunas.
All right.
My name is Thomas Anderson. I have a home business, and I'm here to learn how to make it more efficient.
Okay.
I'm Jim Rickey. I'm retired. I'm heavily involved in Union Ranch, and I'm heavily involved with RSVP in the county, and I do Site Watch, which is another volunteer organization. And I attend a lot of the public meetings, so I try to stay tuned to what's going on in the county.
There's a good job of that, too.
Yes, you do.
Good job, Sam.
My name's Lynn Provencio, and I've just started a new business. And what I do is out of my home, I make and I sell herbs and home cures and soap and lye and e-cigs, and it's actually been the best thing so far, so I'm trying to get it going for a real business.
Well, you came to the right place.
Yeah.
All these people here are a resource for you.
There you go.
I'm Ken Vincent. I own Vincent Financial Counseling Services. I basically help people either with their personal finances or their business if they've gotten themselves into trouble. And through that experience, I've learned a lot about how not to do small business, and tried to bring that and leverage it, and became the business start coach for LiveWork Los Lunas, and developed a coaching model for helping small businesses to get off the ground and get better.
Okay. And my name is Jim Glover. I'm with Once a Day Marketing, and I position brands to be #1 in the minds of target customers. And through my online and on-site consulting, webinars, workshops, and the various tools I provide, I help clients with knowledge, strategy, tactics, and the inspiration to market every day. That's my world. I'm also a person that wears 2 hats. My other company, the Idea Group, works with communities on such elements as community branding, and we are the ones working with the Village of Los Lunas on all the rebranding that the village is doing. So that's my background. So thank you all for being here. Good introductions, yeah.
Yeah.
And really, we thank any of you entrepreneurs that are here, and you can bring a friend next time too if you don't mind. We'd
Bring
like
2
to-
friends.
We really have great content. We're beginning to,
Oh, yeah.
we've got a lot of good content that we share with entrepreneurs, and the more entrepreneurs that we can get here. So any family members, anybody you know of that's either thinking about home-based work or perhaps is working someplace else, would like to migrate their office or their business to their home, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we'd love to have more of yous. So, alrighty? What is next on our agenda? Ralph Mims and re-energizing LiveWork New Mexico, or Los Lunas. I'm going to give you a little overview. I am a consultant, and I have been hired by Los Lunas to assist in the development of LiveWork Los Lunas, to turn it into a program that really works for the residents of Los Lunas. That's what my job is. And so we're giving some thinking to how we're going to move this forward, because we've been sort of idling a little bit, and now we're going to start putting our foot on the gas a little bit more. So one simple thing we have now, it took us hours and hours of discussion, I'm just joking, but there was live/work, there was live work, there was live/work, and so we have come up with a formal way of saying live work. It's live and work together as one word. It's a concept, so it's capital L-I-V-E, capital W-O-R-K. So if you're ever writing or talking about live work, that's how you will see it in the future. So that took a lot of work. And essentially what we're trying to do with live work is to create an environment where we assist all businesses. We have a short-term desire to work with the home-based businesses. Over time, we'll be working more with businesses that are, in the strip developments and in manufacturing and everything else. But right now, we're focusing on mobile. Thanks to Tom, we've decided to expand to mobile workers, because there's a lot of people that aren't literally sitting in their home. They are running around with their cell phones and smartphones and iPads and so forth. So we're trying to make an environment that really is beneficial to anybody that's working in Los Lunas over time. We're going to start, though, initially with targets in the home and mobile world, and that's 3 kinds of people that we've looked at. Already working from their home, it sounds like our guest tonight is working from their home. Those that are ready to start a new home-based or mobile business and Ken is an expert in helping those sorts of people, and as Dave over here, and then encouraging individuals to consider mobile home-based work. So those that are already doing it, those are ready to start, and also trying to get people to think about starting home-based work, because today, we'll be talking about it, there's such an assortment of technology and tools for you to use to work from your home. Why should you go to an office? Why should you pay rent? Why should you commute? And all those sorts of things. It's very green to be working from home. Some of the things that we're going to be doing in the near term is refining the website, so it's a very good tool. And I'd like to show you quickly. This is, if it's working, here it is. This is the website for Once a Day Marketing. They just launched this last week. But what's interesting about this website is it's called responsive. It means that no matter what kind of device you're looking on, this website's smart enough to reshape itself to fit a smartphone, to fit an iPad, or a large computer screen. So it's kind of cool because as you change the size, what happens is it knows to scale accordingly. So it's kind of cool. You'll see as soon as it gets wide enough, it knows to bring the menus back in. There are 4 elements down at the bottom, but when you go small, you'll see that it says, oh, well, now that we're small, I'm going to stack those. So it allows you to navigate much easier. Yes?
If anybody wants one of those, I know how to make them.
Know how to make responsive sites?
Yeah.
All right, so we got a program in our midst as well. Great
That's
job.
what I do when I'm not making herbs.
Oh, really? Good. So, in fact, maybe you can help us in the live-work environment. So, is that your history? Is that what your background is?
Yeah, I was doing web work, and frankly, I wasn't making a living at it, wasn't getting more jobs, and had too much competition, and I had this hobby, and I'm working on that really hard.
So now you're differentiated, niched out in herbs.
There you go.
Probably,
There's not much relation, but
that's all right. Greater satisfaction, most likely.
It's a lot of fun.
So anyway, there'll be work on developing the new website, also new marketing material so that we can get more people to understand what LiveWork is about now that we're shaping it, and also improve our meetings. We're trying to make it so it's a little bit better when we show up, and you'll see we're adding a few new things tonight. One section is going to be on knowledge, strategy, and tactics, so there'll be a little 10-minute presentation that all of us can get involved in over the various months to talk about some aspect. So every night we show up, whatever the lecture is, we'll learn something, but we'll also gain a little bit on some sort of tips. And we're going to try to build our network of mobile and home-based workers. Right now, they're all under the radar. They're hiding out in Los Lunas. We don't know who they are. We need to go get them. And so hopefully we can begin the inverse pyramid where we start small and we move out accordingly to try to understand and identify who these individuals are and let them know the importance of coming out and joining us. Because I'm going to be talking about tonight that it's not very good to work in isolation. So even if you have a home-based business, you're going to go crazy because there's no water cooler to hang out and chat about the ball game and other sorts of stuff. So in a way, LiveWork is the water cooler, if you will, that you could come on out and hang out. We're going to be talking a little bit about moving towards a success center. It was proposed that we need a place where people can congregate daily. And so there's some talk going on now with the village about how we can create an environment where you can go and meet other people and hang out and get some wireless and so forth and have a little bit of a commiserating. Oh, how poorly is it going with you today? Oh, it's going poorly with me too. And then also work to expand our network of partners and resources. I mean, we've already got some that are showing up right now, so it's not going to take very long to really create an environment. So no matter what that home-based or mobile entrepreneur needs, we can instantly put that person together with the resources. So that's a little overview of what's going on with LiveWork. Next on the agenda, Ralph's going to share a little bit about what's going on just economic development-wise in the village.
Yeah, we got some exciting things going. I just heard today that Applebee's is looking to close on the property in front of Lowe's in May. So everything it looks good. You never know what economic development is, like disappointment. So I always say until the building permit actually comes into our office, then it's a go. But the broker did say that in May, they're looking to close on the property in front of Lowe's. Also, we're waiting any day for a building permit to come in for the strip mall or shopping center, I shouldn't say strip mall, shopping center that will be in front of Lowe's. The nutrition center is one of the tenants that is going in there. So there's going to be about 5 tenants, nutrition center for the tenants, which I don't know at this time. I hope there's food because I love to eat. You know, we need more variety in the village and stuff like that. El Serape is closed. It will be a New Mexican food. Will be going in there. My philosophy, of course, we want more diversity. It's better than an empty building. No, it's better than an empty building. So at least we will have some activity at that location. Rainbow is in. Rainbow, you know, where Albertsons is, clothing store. They opened up, so they're doing very good business over there.
Good.
Yes, absolutely. So we're glad to have that. So the village is doing very well. We don't have many vacant buildings, properties. Once a business leaves, we get a new business coming in. You know, Jim has helped me with my marketing efforts. We're going to have an ED website so I can go out to the world. When I go on my conferences, I'll have materials with me. I'll have stuff on my iPad or basic marketing material where I can show prospective people that are interested in coming to the village, show them where there's property, where there's land, where there's opportunities. So Jim is basically helping me with that. Jim, as you know, we have a new brand. We have a new what's the logo?
Well, brand line.
Brand line.
Slogan, tagline, but I like to
Tagline.
call it a brand line because it sort of
Yes.
ties a little bit more with what the brand is as opposed to something that's just cute and doesn't have any real relevance to the actual brand itself.
And we have a new logo which incorporates the old train.
What is the
depot.
brand line?
Well, there's two.
Oh.
There's one for the village, which is small community, big possibilities.
Possibilities.
And then we have one for economic development, which is a community that works.
Ooh. Both are fantastic.
And
so
so
that's
one of the things we're doing for economic development on the national recruitment side is Ralph's been going to national trade shows and getting the business cards. We're going to start a webinar series where we'll be inviting those people
Yes.
from outside to come in and learn about Los Lunas through our webinar, why they should plunk their businesses down here. And that's a very cost-effective
Yes,
way, and then
absolutely.
hopefully once they get a little feeling of what Los Lunas is all about, then they'll come and visit the community.
Yeah.
So
And as
anyway,
though-
that's the
you know,
process.
the state of New Mexico has a challenge in marketing nationwide. I went to New York to the conference. You know, you're dealing with people from Connecticut, New
Ralph,
York.
where did you? New York? You went
New
to
York.
New York.
He's from New York too. We make fun of him also.
Where is?
From the Bronx.
Where
From
is
the Bronx,
that?
man.
Where is New York?
That
Oh,
accent.
I'm sorry, Ralph.
But anyway, that's all right. Get it all the time. Anyway, I go to the conference, people from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Maryland. So I'm talking about Los Lunas. They don't know where New Mexico is. So I spoke to one person who told me, you know, what you have to say is very good, but we do not do international businesses. Can you believe this?
Sure, I believe it.
Do I look like Mexico? No, I don't.
You
So why?
should have spoken some Spanish.
Yeah. You might thought I was Cuban. But anyway, you know, you get that. You know, we have an issue in getting New Mexico out there, especially the East Coast people. They don't have a clue that we exist out here. So, you know, when I go to the trade show in Las Vegas, they have a big recon retail. So the people in California and Arizona, they somewhat know where New Mexico is. Not all the time. So you have to, with the marketing material that Jim has given me, will be giving me, it will help in my marketing efforts. So, you know, it's great. One last thing I want to say. We are going to do an enhancement to our interchange. We got $1.4 million in the kitty to do upgrades, like the Big Eye in Albuquerque. Yeah. We're going to put lighting, we're going to put, well, not similar
Another
to
off-ramp,
the off-ramp, yeah.
another off-ramp.
Yeah, we need another off-ramp. We definitely need one, but we're going to improve the one we have right now. So to enhance it, that's our front door. We want to have a good presentation when people, when people come in, we're going to have new lighting, we have artwork, we do landscaping. It's going to look wonderful once
It's
it's
in
finished.
the village administration hall as you go in.
Yes,
You've seen
we
the
have pictures
posters.
of it.
I don't know if
And
you've
it was in
seen
the
it,
newspaper.
but very beautiful artwork on the freeway. So it should,
Yeah.
people driving by should get a really nice feeling about Los Lunas
Yeah.
just from that.
Yeah, because that's, you know, when someone enters our community, we want to have a good presentation,
Yes.
not dead weeds and grass and,
Yes.
you know, it doesn't look good. So, you know, so basically we'll have the best interchange along I-25.
Good.
And The hospital, we're moving along, enough said. That's another discussion, it's like a 20-minute discussion.
All right.
Is GNC the nutrition company or another one?
Nutrition Center,
You said nutrition company is coming to the strip mall?
yes,
Is it GNC?
no.
Okay.
I
I'm
can't.
curious.
If I tell you, I have to kill you.
No, that's okay. I just want to.
He kills people all the
That
time.
kills people.
You know.
No, I shouldn't say that.
No, you're gonna get really into trouble.
But he knows I'm trouble.
Each kid is, there's 4 kids, so if you can grab them.
He knows I'm teasing him.
If you could just pass them, but keep the kits sort of. There you go. Did you get one of these? Oh, no, thank you. So we're gonna, Ralph, if you can help me grab some more of these, we'll hand these out.
I think, I got,
Anybody
Oh, I
not
did
get
get that.
one of these?
All right.
Second,
You
Jim,
get it.
take
It's
this.
all yours.
Is it-
you don't want one?
Maybe missing.
We've got it.
Oh, all right.
Does anyone need more?
I got one, got it.
We've got it.
Sure.
We have a bunch of them.
Pass that down.
You guys
I
got
got 3 more kits, anybody need one? We all good? You're good? All right. What we're gonna do, this is part of the new little effort that we're adding to our meeting, which is just basically the knowledge, strategy, and tactics section. And I just presented to the Santa Fe Chamber last week to 25 businesses on brand positioning. So I thought since I had these readily available, I would just present quickly what brand positioning is all about and let you sort of take that home and noodle it over, and it should help. Your name again, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Lynn?
Lynn. So what we're talking about should really help you and should really help your gardening guy, or your, not gardening.
Arborist.
Yes. So, I entitled it wrong, sorry about that. It should be brand positioning on the front side. I was confused for a second. What we've got here is what I call a brandscape. Okay? It's like a landscape. But a brandscape is where you try to identify where your business sits compared to your competition. So thanks to Tom, I have this really jazzy little thing that I can shoot. So here's your little company right there, okay? And we've got one axis is price, climbing, and then we have quality. So you can see that these 2 companies over here have higher quality and a higher price. So quick analysis of those 2 companies, who do you think is in a better position?
One on top.
What's that?
One on top.
This guy here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because he seems to be offering higher quality for a lesser price.
Yeah.
So if that's you, you've got some work to do from a positioning point of view, don't you? That you are charging more for essentially less quality. That's a hard sell, especially today. So that company's got to do some work. That company's also got to do some work if in the exact same space, there's another kind of ignorant company that's also offering low quality for higher price. So when you are out there in the marketplace, it's very important that you have a clear positioning as to where your company is compared to the competition. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about how you determine that. So what I've handed you is a brand positioning statement. Okay? It's a generic form that I use, and it's only got 5 little lines on it. But those 5 lines can take you a long time to fill out. All right, so we're going to sort of walk through a little exercise here. All right, Tom, why aren't we advancing? Well, I will advance it for us. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, the very first line, it says target market. And it's very important to understand who your target market is, because you can't be all things to all people. Sometimes we want to be all things to all people, but when you're all things to all people, if you really are that, let's just say Coca-Cola perhaps, that's a lot of time and money you have to spend to tell everybody about your wonderful beverage. The more that you can niche out, the more that you can segment your audience as to who you're targeting, it's going to be a lot less expensive and a lot quicker for you to share the message with them. You'll see also I have 2 things over there. Demographics. Everybody know what a demographic is?
Yep.
That's your age, income, education, and so forth. But how many people know psychographics? Okay? Psychographics is a marketing term that's used to identify people by their interests. So let's just use kayaking, all right? Jim over here loves kayaking. I love kayaking. We're a little bit different in age. I'm older. But it really doesn't matter. If he likes kayaking and I like kayaking, that's our target market, despite our differences in age, right? Doesn't really matter. I'm going to have a good chance of selling a kayak to him or me, as opposed to Ralph, who absolutely hates kayaking. All right?
I'm from the Bronx, son.
Yeah, and the reason I have People versus Outside Magazine. Outside Magazine is based in Santa Fe, and it appeals to outdoor active people. They charge probably 10 times as much for an ad in Outside Magazine as something like People Magazine would. People Magazine reaches more, but if I'm trying to sell hiking boots or kayaks or skis or down jackets, should I be advertising in People Magazine? Or should I spend a little bit more and advertise in Outside Magazine, where I know that everybody that picks up that magazine is interested in outdoor activities, right? So it's not even a dollar issue. It makes more sense to spend more in this case because I'm getting to my target audience. Next, on your brand positioning statement, is something called frame of reference or industry. We already looked at the brandscape, so you have a little sense of that. But it's important to really understand what industry you're in. And sometimes people have a hard time trying to describe what industry they're in. And if they have a hard time describing it, how is a customer supposed to understand it? So what you want to try to do is you want to try to narrow down what it is that you do. Dapwood Furniture Company, for instance, is one of my clients. They're in Albuquerque, and they manufacture furniture. So if they said that they are just a furniture manufacturing company, who are they competing with? Every other furniture manufacturing company, right? Now, if they say that they are a bedroom furniture manufacturer, they've narrowed it down a little bit, haven't they? And if they say that they are handcrafted bedroom furniture manufacturer, and if they say they are natural, using like real organic oils and rather than paint and other sorts of things and sustainable woods. And then lastly, if they're a USA manufacturer. So you could see that they're changing their positioning by narrowing down what it is that they do. And it so happens that I'm helping Dapwood right now take their products to China, because China is tired of buying furniture made in China that isn't very good quality. They want high-end US manufactured furniture, so we're going to sell them our furniture made here in Albuquerque. Okay? So that's the second line. So you need to identify what industry and what frame of reference you're in. The third line is called point of difference or functional benefit. Okay? You've heard of features and benefits. Functional benefit is the thing that the product does to help that person. Okay? Functional benefit of a Mustang car, what is it?
Get it down the road.
Get you down the road, right? Okay? The features might be that it's got a 350 engine and it's got, I don't know, convertible, right? But the functional benefits is what it's designed to do. So you need to think about what is it that your herbs are doing. Is it trying for medicinal purposes, for meals or whatever? What's the functional benefit that they're going to get out of your product? All right? And you have to really try to determine why it is unique. This is going back to your client. Why is it unique and different? If you're not unique, there's three parts of the unique selling proposition called the USP. Okay, what is it that I do that is a benefit to my customer? And how is it different than my competition? So that's also important. And then lastly, why would a customer care to buy it? So often entrepreneurs go, I've got a great idea, I'm going to make a widget, but they don't really give any thought to the fact of whether or not a customer may really want to buy that product. All right? The more that you know it's compelling, the more likely it is that you're going to sell it. So that's the third element. You need to identify what your functional benefit is. Fourth element is permission to believe. Now, you need to answer why should they care, and also why are you the expert? Now, if I claim that I can produce a low-cost nuclear bomb, how credible am I to this audience?
Not very.
Well, how do you know? No, probably not very credible, right? So even though I can boast that I could create a low-cost nuclear bomb,
The Jim, your name gives you away. Jim is not,
no.
if you came on and said Muhammad or something, no, your
Now-
credibility just.
Now, let's just change it for a second. What if I am a retired Los Alamos National Lab scientist, and I was making this claim?
Yep.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a little bit more permission to
Yes.
believe, and the FBI be knocking on my door.
There you go.
Right? So there needs to be sort of a link between what it is that you say that you do and your ability to do it. Right? And the credibility in the marketplace comes from them going, oh, that person says he can do it, and I know he can do it, or she can do it.
When you visit websites, one of the things that I check sometimes for a business is the About Us page.
Right.
To find out more about what makes them tick.
Right.
And they have, a lot of times they have resumes out there about their background, how many years of experience in this field. And that's one of the places that I look, not all the time, to find out more about what makes this institution or entity that I'm not familiar with tick.
Right, and why should I believe them?
Right.
Exactly, that's what it's all about. Now, the last thing is the emotional benefit. And oftentimes, we get tied up on selling the functional benefit. But now let's go back to our Mustang. Yeah, it gets me down the road, but how does it make me feel? I feel good zipping down the road. I feel good when people see me in my Mustang convertible, right? So what you really try to do, the last thing is emotion sells. I have a little rule, capture the mind, and you can create behavior. You can get somebody to buy your widget, okay? But if you get their heart, they're going to be sticking with you forever. You get that long-term commitment. And that's really what you're trying to do. So you want to try to sell on the emotional side. Now, to sum all this up, here's Nike. Real quick look at Nike, okay? What is Nike? Well, target market, people who value performance gear. Not all gear, but performance gear. Okay, they're in the sports marketing industry, not too hard to say. And what do? They really spend a lot of money, R&D, on developing equipment that works and performs. That's their niche. Now, why do we believe Nike? Because every major athlete in the world we've heard of uses Nike. And I heard that their endorsement budget is over $1 billion a year that they're paying athletes to endorse their product. But also on every basketball team, football team, hockey team, you name it, Nike's out there. So we tend to believe them, right? And then the last thing, emotional. Yeah, I actually can run faster in these shoes, but I feel like a winner, don't I?
Yeah.
All right, so different sort of thing. Okay, now here's once-a-day marketing. Okay, I'm approaching smaller brands. Okay, that's my audience, who I'm going after. And I'm in the marketing consulting world. And the functional benefit, I don't really have a tangible thing, but my functional benefit is such things as positioning the brand in the minds of customers, mind share, market share for my clients. Those are the things that I try to deliver to Ralph. So he goes out in the marketplace, somebody goes, oh, I've heard of Los Lunas. Then I've done my job, okay? 25 years in the business, that's sort of my validity there. And then the emotional is inspired and enhanced branding, trying to make people feel good about their marketing effort. That's what I try to do. And then lastly, what I've given you is my own positioning statement. Once you calculate the little elements, you want to put it into a narrative, and the narrative is meant to be an internal document. It's for your own company, your own self, as you go out there branding and marketing. You don't share this with anybody. And what does mine say? Once-a-day marketing is the one consulting company that positions brands to be number one in the mind of target customers. You've heard me say that tonight already. I'm spewing out my own stuff. Through online and on-site consulting, lectures, workshops, and webinars, and branding tools, we provide knowledge, strategy, tactics, and the inspiration to market every day to capture market share and increase, mind share and increase market share. And then James Glover, the branding guy and founder of Once-a-Day Marketing, has been generating innovative branding and marketing solutions for clients for over 25 years and shares in his experience to enable brands to succeed and meet their strategic goals and objectives. So that's my little positioning statement. But it's really important to understand this, because once you have this solidified into this kind of shape, then you can go forward and tell your story about what makes you unique out in the marketplace. And hopefully it will be relevant and resonate with the people that are hearing it. If they're looking at you like, huh? Then either you're talking to the wrong market or you're telling the wrong message. Okay, any questions on that? So I gave you the examples there to sort of look, and I think it even can work with a personal brand. All of us today can have personal brands. Even if we move from one company to another, we can at least establish ourselves, and it goes back to that credibility. So especially places like LinkedIn, that's where you can really create your own personal brand these days. Okay, questions, anybody? Interesting?
Yes.
A little bit?
Interesting.
For 10 minutes? Now you're all branding experts, I'm out of a job. All right, what's next, Ralph?
No, you're next, yeah.
I'm hogging the show tonight.
That's all right.
What I wanted to do next was go over, where's my little list? Again, these are stacked horizontally and vertically, so there's 3 pages each. If you would hand these out and just take the top 3 and hand it to somebody else. This is the little discussion points that we're going to talk about tonight, about migrating my business from my office, my expensive office in Santa Fe, to my home. And I can't tell you how pleased and happy I am about that. So I thought maybe we'd make this more of a discussion. I might sit down and we could chat a little bit about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's smart.
Anybody that still doesn't have one yet?
Yeah.
Here we go. Tom, did you get one? There you go. Jim. Lynn. Ken. There you go. Anybody not get one? All right. So, when it comes to home-based work, attitudes have changed. When I started my very first production company 25, 30 years ago in Los Angeles, and I was working out of my little condo, I made every effort to try to make the big boys think that I wasn't working out of my little condo. Because I wanted them to see me as being bigger than I was at that time, just out of college. But today, home offices are accepted. You could be sitting on the plane and you're talking to somebody, yeah, I work out of my home. Wow, you do? Really? I mean, so the mindset has changed. So home-based work and mobile work has really, really changed. Now, lowering overhead, it's huge. I'll be talking to her about in a second what I was paying in Santa Fe, but it doesn't cost you much to work out of your home. You're already in your home. You're already paying taxes. In fact, you get to write off a lot of that. You get to write off a percentage of your taxes and the interest that you pay on your mortgage and all those sorts of things. And so you can actually start, and Ken, I'm sure, can answer those kind of questions better than I can. And one might argue you can be a little bit more productive. Maybe not as noticeable here in New Mexico, where it might only take you 30 minutes to get to Albuquerque, but it could take you 2 hours to get across to LA to go to a job, right? And then 2 hours coming back. So that's 4 hours that you could be working productively rather than sitting in your car cussing at the guy next to you. And you also have the, what's that?
Well, do we want to address the counterpoint to that, which is Yahoo and some of these other things that have created some pushback to that argument, which seems to be centered around the idea that without the synergy of the team,
Right.
the productivity.
We're going to get to that. Hang on, but also, not everybody knows it, but the president of Yahoo that's making everybody come back to work, by the way, she's building a brand new nursery next to her office so she can have her kid at work when she's telling everybody else they need to come to work so that we can all be productive.
She's right. I just,
No,
it's out there.
I actually have that very story going, but that's a good point, Ken. We should talk about it.
Because that's really what the Success Center is trying to address. Which
Right.
is that working at home, it can be more productive in one sense, which is saved commute times, etc.
Right.
But it does have that other.
Yeah, and we're going to get to
the
that.
dark side.
Yeah, I've got this sort of the questions we need to ask ourselves when we're considering the migration to home. I'm just telling my story first, and then I got page 2 and 3 gets into that. But the good students are always ahead of the teachers anyway. Then green, it's hard to argue that it isn't green. You're saving on gas. You don't have to build another building someplace and so forth. And then the quality of life. We've talked for years about the latchkey kids. Parents go off and leave the kids home. Now what's going to happen, the parent's going to be home and the kid's going, can't you leave? How can I get into any mischief if you're here all the time, Or you're going to be home and the neighbor kids you'll be able to see. So I think it's actually going to cause a swing back to maybe more home values over time. That's just my personal take on it. And then you, as an entrepreneur, have the ability to work your schedule around the things that are important in your life. Right now, if you're going to work, it's like you got to be there at 9, you got to be there till 5, and you're sitting there, why? Why do I have to adhere to this schedule when I could be going to my kid's soccer game or whatever it might be, as long as I'm getting the work done? And that goes back to the whole Yahoo's kind of story. So anyway, so the attitudes have changed, except till recently when Yahoo and some others are coming forward. But I still believe there's a bigger benefit. All right, so now we're going to talk about the Idea Group's relocation. When I started the Idea Group around 11 years ago in Santa Fe, I had come from LA and nobody knew me in New Mexico, and I was trying to say, hey, I can really do high-end consulting, you should hire me. And again, I was kind of going back to that mindset, well, we need a prestigious location so that people believe, since we don't have a track record yet, well, these guys must be good, they can afford this big office, right? Well, that wasn't the case. We were really like, oh, wow, this is an expensive office. But it was marketing, so I was doing that. We went into the Lofts, which is a very cool kind of environment in Santa Fe, and we were paying close to $2,000 a month in rent. So I was paying $24,000 in rent alone just for this office.
What was the square footage?
Not very much.
Desk,
What's that?
a desk and a chair.
Yeah, it was a little bit bigger than that. But we had 8 strategists at the time, some very high sort of ranking marketing guys. One person was a former president of Bisco International. Another person was a senior vice president at Procter & Gamble running all the big product lines. So we had a large conference area. We would do what we called ideation. Clients would come to us with problems and we'd all sit around and try to ideate, come up with solutions, innovative solutions to solve the problems of our clients. And the clients often came to us. And so in that particular case, there was a need to have an office presence. So that was like the first 5 years of the Idea Group. But then the next 5 years, things started happening. We now were positioned in the marketplace with credibility. Oh, these guys can actually do what they say they can do. So we didn't need to impress quite so much. Our resume now was deliverables that we had created, strategies and other sorts of things. I started reducing the number of strategists. Didn't need 8. Started bringing it down, down, down. So we didn't need as much office space because we could do it with fewer people. And also the technology started allowing us to collaborate over the internet. So we used SharePoint sites, and we were using other places where we could share calendars and task lists and those sorts of things. And so everybody else said, well, let's just work out of the home and we'll collaborate online to get a project done, and then we'll go meet the client when we deliver. So we found that to be a very successful means for us. And then we started going to clients. Ralph's actually been to my home, but 99.9% of the time, I'm here in Los Lunas rather than Ralph coming to me. And so we found that we were always going to clients. They weren't coming to see us, so why have the big office?
I had to check you out and see if you were legitimate.
That's right. And then the final reason, about 4 years ago, when I finally did the migration to my home, was I bought a new home. And I'm single, divorced, and my kids are out of the house, so it was just this big home and me, and then an office with no more strategists than me. And so I thought it was ridiculous to be paying that kind of money, and so I said, I'm gonna just move back home. And that's what we did about 4 years ago. So here's a, all right, take care. So here's the results of the home migration. It's been working smoothly for the last 4 years, and substantial savings, as you can, after 24,000 down to whatever. And clients seem to be fine with me working out of my home. And also, since that time, I talked about once-a-day marketing. I've started a new company, yet another company from my home, and I produce a daily video blog about branding and marketing every single day. And I started that a year ago, January 1st. We are now a global company working out of my little 10 by 10 foot space in my home. We have, I think last month alone, 75 different countries, people came in to watch my videos. We're using the technologies now to be able to actually service clients online. So I have clients in Santa Barbara and Eugene where there's no expectation we'll ever meet. I'm servicing them through the computer, through the technology. So it's very cool, and building really strong online relationships through social media. So that's kind of what's happened. Yes, Dave?
I'm interested in your daily video blog. What do you wake up in the morning and say, well, today I'm going to talk about painting rooms, or what?
Well, the daily video blogs are all branding and marketing.
Okay.
And yeah, I've produced over 300 of them now in the last year. 250 of them are video blogs. So like yesterday's blog was on brand image versus brand identity. They're about 2 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
They're all on my website, onceadaymarketing.com. If we go to, let's go here real quick. One quick second, there it is. So if you go to my website and you go under tools and recent blogs, brand image and brand identity, that was yesterday's blog that we posted. There is the blog talking about the difference between brand identity, brand image, and you can click right here and watch my video.
And they're all about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes long, and
Right.
just a shot, and then, okay, the feed, what happens then? Somebody has a question, and they click in, or
Yeah,
or,
I mean, that's
okay.
the thing about social media. We've had, just on our video alone, 12,000 views. I calculated the amount of time, that's over 400 hours of viewing that people have done this last year.
12,000, oh, how many views?
I mean,
per-
24,000 minutes of viewing last year.
Oh.
That's a lot of,
Some of the video, this is the new 21st century.
Right,
Isn't it?
and-
Yeah.
People are looking, businesses, if you're out there trying to do your business and you're not video blogging or webcasting or something to get
Right.
your business out there, people don't want to read anymore.
Do you
Yeah.
No, they
have,
just
That's
don't want to
sad,
read.
but it's true.
And they'd rather
Yeah.
click it, hit 2 minutes, and you may have the same thing in written below it, but they'll click and hit the video first.
of course.
and you'll see, it'll take a second to populate it, but every video that I produced, my site goes out and pulls it in for you that you can watch it.
See, that's what I was, the next
Yeah.
So
question.
you'll see,
If I had a question about a certain aspect of what you do,
right,
do you have a little search engine there that I can go in and say?
I
Okay.
have it based on 7 P's of marketing,
Mhm.
product, price, place, promotion, so forth, as well as Smart Monday, Strategic Tuesday, Action Wednesday, Recon Thursday, and Digital Friday, so it's magazine format.
Jim, you could track also how many views per day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Like the other day, I had 127 views of my videos.
And from different locations? Can you
Right,
tell?
there were 60 views from Georgia. But the thing is once you create this content, it's out there forever.
Yeah.
It floats around, and then that's the power of social media. That, we'll do another session on social media in the future. But the
That's
point
just great that
being
it's
that
there
I'm
forever.
doing this from my home. That was tonight's sort of story. But all of you, I encourage you to go to Once a Day Marketing every day, watch my blogs, and you'll learn more about branding. Now, here's the question where we start getting into what Ken had talked about. So the number 4, should you move home? So let's start asking yourself some questions on whether or not this makes sense. First question, do you have the type of business conducive to home-based work? All right, now if I'm manufacturing airplanes,
No, doesn't work.
chances are
Like zoning is allowed.
that's not a good fit.
Yeah.
Right?
You're out of business.
Right. So you need to ask yourself, do I even have a kind of business that I can work out of my home? And Ralph with the city, they're going to come and eventually check that out. Another question, does your business require actual face time with the client? If you need to be with the client a lot, well, they can't come to your home probably, so you're going to have to make sure that you can go to them. But if they want an office environment, if they expect that, or retail store, whatever, chances are home-based work isn't going to be fitting for you. Next, will your customers and clients mind? Well, I'm sorry, that's what I was just talking about. The other question I got out of order. What about your employees? Do you need to have that creative time face-to-face with your employees? It's important to get a sense of that. Do you have employees? If you don't have employees, well, it's pretty easy. You can just look in the mirror and talk to yourself. But if you have a bunch of
And do
employees,
a damn fine job of it, too.
Yes.
that's right.
Answer all
When
your
it's
questions.
really bad when you start getting into arguments, though. and you can't resolve
Or
them.
you can have a husband or wife.
There you go. So then the question is, do you have adequate space? Because you're going to be putting this business into your home, so you have the adequate space. And then, do you have the commitment from your family? Because you're now going to be working out of your home. You know, and you know, you need to talk to the family members, the spouse, the significant other, the kids, and find out if they have a problem with this. And then another big question, are you self-managing? When you're working for somebody else, it's kind of hard to goof off and do all these wonderful things, but when you're home and you're the only one that you have holding you accountable, it's a different mindset. And not everybody's comfortable with that mindset. So it's important. And then getting back to the question, will the city allow your business? And part of what LiveWork is going to do with Los Lunas is to really look at the ordinances of what can go on and really try to make it as friendly as humanly possible to have a successful business. Because you might have people come into your house. Is it safe? You know, is it going to bother the neighbors? Is it going to be noisy? Those kinds of things.
Signage.
What's that?
Signage.
Signage, exactly.
Okay.
So,
Didn't Christine already get hammered out?
Not really.
Oh,
so it's
We're still working on that.
I
so,
saw a draft of that language
Yeah,
more than a year ago.
so, but it's important that, again, that the city is working with and that's what LiveWork is all about in Los Lunas, is to really make sure that it is conducive to setting up home-based businesses. All right, Section 5, making the move, all right? You need your business license, so you're going to go tell them that you're going to be performing autopsies on people or whatever, you know? And they might go, really? All right,
Really want to bet?
So there's going to be the licensing part of it. And then also, people forget this, you need business insurance because home insurance isn't enough. So if somebody comes to your home and trips, oftentimes as a consultant, I need certificates of liability that says I am insured, and so you need that. And so,
Jim, I have a question.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to see how many businesses are operating illegally. Maybe that's why they don't want to come
well,
out.
I would imagine there's many.
Yeah,
And
maybe
that's
they're
what
under
we're-
the cover.
Yeah, they're under the cover, and they're going, why should I pay a
I
business
don't wanna pay
tax?
it.
Or maybe they won't allow this business, I don't even want to take the
Ken, do you
risk.
fight with businesses sometimes that don't want to come out? You tell them to come out of this?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
all the time. Most of them have the mistaken impression that as long as they operate in cash, then they can operate
Drug
off
dealer
the grid.
yeah,
Good example, I have a guy running a body shop out of his garage across the street from me. I live right over there. Has for years, decades.
yeah.
You know, he's out there banging metal, used to paint. He doesn't
Yeah.
do that
What's the
anymore.
address?
Jeez.
What's the address?
And
Get it-
I'll guarantee
get
you
Adolf
he
out of
doesn't
it.
have a business
Right.
license or.
Yeah,
you know,
And part of the focus of LiveWork Los Lunas is to show them the benefits of coming out and joining us.
Right.
We're not going to force it on them, but hopefully little by little they'll be going, you know, there's a lot of benefit of being a part of this
But you
organization.
think a guy like that will come out, he's operating illegally.
No, he gets shut down.
He'll
Well,
get shut down.
Yeah,
His
that's
business
a
stops.
different issue that we're sort of talking about. We're trying to go for legitimate businesses that have a
Yeah.
right
Well,
to.
and that's the key word, legitimize.
Right,
Yes.
the problem is, I agree with you.
Yeah.
If you have in Los Lunas 20,000 home-based businesses and only
Under the radar.
4,000 are registered, you want to go after those 16,000 that are out there.
Yeah.
But the marketing, hello, raise your hand, Mr. Marketing Man,
That's
has
right.
got to figure out how to market to those people
Right.
to make, for them to pay the $35 or whatever business license, to pay the insurance. I mean, has anybody looked at any of the companies here that would be offering liability insurance that you could put up on the site to say, you know, to say, yeah, we know you got a home-based business. Do you realize you gotta have insurance, and what is the cost? Because it may be nominal,
Right.
but
It
then
is.
it may be horrendous.
Business insurance is nominal.
What's that?
The charge for business insurance is nominal.
But I guess it depends on
But
what kind
it's
of
a
coverage.
fear.
Yes,
It's a
there's a
fair.
lot of.
It's a fear, I mean, you gotta.
And yeah, lack of knowledge
I
about
have a
it.
personal, I mean, my personal insurance on my home is $1,600 a year with flood insurance. Now, I'm gonna start a business, and I'm thinking, it may cost me $2,000 because it's a business. So I'm a little afraid to make that
You think it's
step.
lack of education?
Yes.
Well,
Maybe
but that's
people
part of
don't
what
know.
we'll do here is we'll continue
Yeah.
offering, like that little 10-minute could be uninsured, you
Yeah,
know.
but
So,
the problem is, you're not gonna hit it in this audience. You may hit it on your website.
yeah.
You know, did you know, I mean, just banner.
you know?
Yeah, that's what we're.
Did you know business insurance is as low as?
Right. And that's part of what, we've got the entrepreneurs, what's it called, the Entrepreneurs Academy or something like that, yeah. So trying to get new businesses to understand what process they have to go through
Yeah.
and so forth. But it is an educational process.
It's somewhat akin to the IRS's program called Coming Out of the Cold. When people have failed to file or pay their taxes for a number of years, if they'll self-identify, the IRS calls that coming out of the cold. And then they don't hammer you, they don't prosecute you. They just say, well,
Get you in
know,
the system and.
let's get you in the system, let's get you caught up, and then we'll work out some kind of an arrangement.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta reduce the fear of,
Right.
Yeah.
you know,
But that's what I'm saying,
Adverse consequences.
your auto shop guy, if he knew it cost him only $500 a year to be legitimate, there's a possibility he may or may.
But he's not
willing to do
legitimate. He's
that.
in a residential zone operating a.
Well, yeah, wait, let's not dwell on that.
Okay, I know, I'm getting.
But, yeah,
Yeah, too much zoning stuff.
all right. But yes,
but it could just be somebody who's trying to do bookkeeping.
Right.
Or something, you know, but again, they're under the radar, they're not collecting and paying gross receipts, they're probably doing it on a cash basis, so they're not reporting the income, yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of different layers of wrongness here.
and also it's the ease of being able to get the questions answered and actually apply. Like, my girlfriend has a home-based business in Santa Fe County. We went to get the form, it was 10 pages long. She's like, wait a minute, I just want to type a blog on the computer.
That's discouraging.
Yeah, and so the Santa Fe County hasn't taken time to think about people that are working out of their home. They're just giving you like, you can't raise chickens or whatever it is, you know, that sort of thing. So, so anyway, so we're back to number 5, making the move. And next thing is need to secure the proper tools. Today, it's so exciting. Tom was just sharing with me this last week, Office 365, correct, Tom? That's what it's called? It used to be you'd have to buy your software like Word and Excel and PowerPoint, and you'd put it on your computer, and then it would just sit there and get old, and then you'd have to go give the billionaire more money to get the software to put back on your computer. And then you also, in the case of like the Idea Group, you go and you use Outlook, where you have parked on a server someplace the ability to have your database and your contacts and your schedule, and other people can access it. Well, Office 365 for just a few dollars a month, as little as $6 a month, you can now have access to all these things out in the cloud. Microsoft controls it. You have the ability to access it as long as you have internet connectivity. But you can do webinars, you can file share, you can have your contacts, your calendars, your schedules, and it never goes obsolete because they're always updating it. So every time you go online, you're always using the latest version of it. So there's a lot of powerful tools that are now available to be able to work out of your home. It used to be like the fax machine, but now you've got the means to be able to do it from home quickly. The main thing, one of the main things, of course, is having that high-speed connectivity, because it is becoming a video world and other sorts of stuff, and so you need that bandwidth to be able to access your various files. So then once you're home, all right, now you're moving home. First you have to make the commitment and dedication. This is what I'm talking about. Not everybody is good at being an entrepreneur. Case in point, my former brother-in-law was a great graphic artist, and he used to work for Ford Aerospace. And Ford Aerospace, he'd show up at 9 and work till 6 and do graphic work for Ford Aerospace. And I said, hey, Steve, you're really good. You should do this on your own. So he got himself a little office going in Irvine, this is in Southern California, and he just sat there waiting for the door, for somebody to come in the door. Like, you're not marketing, you're not servicing. And then a producer might show up and say, oh, I need you to do this. And he goes, I got to go home now, it's 5.
Oh.
And like, no. So finally, he went back into the business world working for somebody else, because he's just not an entrepreneur. Talented graphic person, but he's not an entrepreneur. So you need to be able to make that commitment and dedication. And this is a big issue. Next one is the environment distraction free? Now, the good news is you get to be home with your family and your dogs. And the bad news is you get to be home with your family and the dogs. So how do you actually carry on business in a professional manner if little Jimmy's on your lap and the dog's running all over? And then this is a classic one. You're on a conference call with the client on your phone and somebody flushes the toilet.
Yeah.
Or the washing machine is banging or whatever it is, you know. And so that's why I'm saying no toilets and washing machine noises and that sort of stuff. So, so it's important that you create an environment that is distraction-free. And then it's also important that you create what I call the home-based work rules for the family. You've already had the conversation with them that you're moving the business home, but now they need to understand that you are working from home. Because if you don't set those ground rules, then they're just going to be knocking on the door and they're doing everything else. And so it's very important that they understand what goes on. And you might say to them, well, I'll take a break at 10 and we get to do our thing from 10 to 10:30 and then I got to go back on and so forth. Or when mommy's on a conference call, everybody's quiet. You know, whatever it might be. So you set up those ground rules. And then now, lastly, it's a place to socialize. And unfortunately, when you go to your home environment, you're away from all those really good peers and friends and other sorts of things. So it is important to try to find that release, if you can, that place you need to go to either just chat or to get problems solved. Find some creativity. And so that's why we're talking about the Success Center here and why LiveWork is a very good organization to come to be able to chat with people and so forth. So that's kind of an important element. So you don't want to be an island. You want to actually get out and do some work. Yes.
Isn't the Starbucks the satellite to the world?
But yeah, I mean,
Or
that's
something
really,
is a relief.
it is
to
a
get out
place
the
for you to
house.
go, even if you're just looking at other people having their coffee. Yes.
You know, it would be, I mean, this may not really be related, but thinking of socializing and meeting people working from home, one of the biggest struggles I have right now is a lot of times people, I don't have an office, so that means I don't want people coming to my house is a mess. So I gotta have a place to meet them, and there's really not any good meeting place around here. I'll meet you at the Allsup's, I'll meet you at the John.
Yeah.
Go to Saturday.
Well, the
Starbucks.
Success Center would be one of those places where you could actually say,
That'd be really neat.
Yeah, we're in the process of getting that going. So
Yeah.
that'll be a good location.
yeah, and so that we understand that, and so it is very important.
Have you considered that a telework center? A telework, you may
So-
be eligible for-
That's the whole story about migrating to the home-based business home. Any questions on that? And you know, encourage people to call upon us to talk more about home-based work and mobile work and so forth. So that's what our goal is. And so we definitely want to be talking to you more and being able to help you. And so your idea about having a place to say, hey, it'd be great just to be able to meet you and show you my wares.
Something maybe a little cheaper than those hotel advertisements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your office.
Now, the last section we're adding is we created it for the Rural Forum. Ralph and I are creating an economic development event that's going to be here in
Yeah.
August.
August 6th to 8th.
And we created an event for all these economic development leaders called Wine That You Drink, Wine Like Complaining and Refine. So we're calling the session Wine, Wine, and Refine.
Yes.
But we don't have alcohol here. But what we wanted to do is, if you had some problems or things that you are encountering in home-based business, share that with us, and maybe there's a solution here that we can chime in on it and help you. So if anybody's got some thoughts or wants to talk about that, that's what the last few minutes of our session is for today. Yes?
You know, I work with the federal agencies and buyers, and one of them came to me, and I was really shocked. It was a program manager, and said to me that when he gets a business card that has xxx@gmail or some personal email, he won't even look at the company. And I don't know if anybody's heard that before.
I've heard that from some certain
Yeah.
emails, so not taken
So,
seriously.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
is it possible on LiveWork Las Lonas website to have an email account? So that a
Oh.
home-based business would not have to jump in and buy a web
That's a good
right
idea.
away, a web page.
Now, we could certainly do at Live Work Los Lunas. Is there a way to customize it more, Tom, you think?
I would share a domain
Yeah.
among local people that
These
has
would
its
be your
disadvantages.
customers. You know, people that register with LiveWork it would be a draw to give them that access.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. We should try to figure that out somehow.
Losloonis.net is available?
Yeah?
Well, if you don't identify it in I don't know, a live-work situation, call it something like Valencia Enterprise, or something that is more business-oriented. I'm not saying that live-work isn't.
Right. No,
I'm just saying that
email
But
address.
but even as that branding guy, I would say that even having, I always wonder why somebody doesn't have Glover@onceadaymarketing.com. Why don't you have that if you're a legitimate business? Why are you using
And
any?
Gmail, yeah.
Why are you using any other type of email address? So, but I do think it's important for us to address that, because that's a good point. If they are using a Gmail, perhaps we can assist them in
Yeah.
creating
Now, see, that's value for live-work.
Right there.
what's that? Oh, absolutely.
I
yes.
mean, now that is something
Yeah.
that the home-based would feel a little more comfortable saying, I see why there's a real value here.
To
Right.
Yeah.
become involved.
Right, and that's what we're doing, is trying to add more benefits. Tom's already talked to us about trying to make Office 365 available to everybody, and Tom would be our person in town that would be servicing them and helping them get on to Office 365. And so all of a sudden, that would be another thing. For $10 a month, you get Office 365 through LiveWork Los Lunas. So that would be yet another benefit to be able to do that.
That account offers
Yes, you could
10
have
or 100
Oh,
emails.
more.
a
There's some
domain
that-
name that you shared among the community.
Right.
Or a person could have their own account
Before I
and
forget.
their own domain name.
Yes.
But Gmail, Hotmail, it's like the new AOL. It's, when you're not serious, you get a free account.
Yeah. So, but that's a very good point. And again, it's,
Yeah.
and perception is, so nowadays, if you're home-based, you have to create whatever persona that you
Websites,
can.
And you know, if you're just starting out, that's an expense that's pretty steep.
Right.
To create a website. You know, once you've gotten off the floor, because small business, what, 3 to 5?
Excuse
Isn't it
me,
a
3
small
to 5?
business, 3 to 5 years, they're either gonna fail or.
Oh, it's a lot less than that now.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
So,
it's,
you know, when you're talking about the expense of developing a website, when you're talking about the expense on a home base and you're just starting.
Right.
If you, LiveWork, could provide that little assistance where they're not using Hotmail, they're not using Gmail, they're using the Valencia County
Yeah. And,
email as their initial, and they're registered.
Right.
Now you're building a client base
Yeah.
under LiveWork that are home-based, that we can reach out and touch, that now your email gets bigger.
and that's another nice feature of Office 365, is the ease to create a website.
Right.
That's another feature
Jim,
of
let's
it.
look more into depth at our next meeting, next LiveWork meeting. Let's discuss this in further depth.
Yeah.
Because this will add value.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, is continue to bring
This is the way
value.
of the future, believe it
Yes.
or not. If you don't have a website,
Oh, beautiful.
very few people, I mean, okay, so the Bureau of Indian Affairs goes to the Yellow Pages
Right.
out of Crown Point, New Mexico.
Huh.
But in Albuquerque,
Oh.
they're on the web. They are on the web. They are looking for businesses on that website. And so if you're got that Gmail, I mean, I was shocked when the guy told me that, the program manager, and I said, oh, I need to send this out to my small businesses.
Right.
And when I'm looking for a florist in another city to send flowers to a relative or something, I don't call FTD, I go to the web.
Right.
And I find, you know, entries, and sometimes it's a phone number. If it doesn't have a
Yellow
website,
pages in years.
I don't like it. Partly because I want to see the flowers. I don't want to just call a number and like,
Yep.
what do you do? I mean, I want to see a picture of the
Yeah,
flowers I
picture.
want to send.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm ordering X, Y, Z, so I know exactly what's going to be sent. Otherwise, I just don't even deal with that florist.
Yeah.
Right.
There is a woman in Albuquerque, Jan Zimmerman, who is the author of Internet Marketing for Dummies, the yellow book, but she's really a world-class internet marketer. And she and I did a session recently, and the one thing that she did say when she was talking about social media marketing and everything else is that it's imperative that you have a web presence, because it's just that we all go there now to find out anything we can. And then going to search engine optimization, if I don't know who I want to look up, what's important is that when you start typing in some of those keywords about florists or whatever, that you rise to the top of the
us or whatever.
Exactly, that somebody finds you. And so that's why part of the social media, and we will talk more about social media efforts, the more content you put out there, then the search engines tend to find you faster and put you on the top. And once a day marketing, because of all the content I sent out, James Glover, that branding guy, once a day marketing, Smart Monday, Strategic Tuesday, you type those in and I show up on page 1 on Google.
And you mentioned the point that you get a lot of hits from Georgia. I mean, you have to have a web presence. People would never know you existed if you weren't on the internet.
Right.
Internationally too.
Right, right. So anything else about,
No.
I would like to see down the road, I mean, I get a lot of inquiries from people in my community. They know that, a lot of them know that I know a lot of sources of information. I mean, I know, but I can find out. And like I get, for example, daycare centers. There's a shortage of daycare centers. Now, to run a daycare center, you just don't start a daycare center and poof your business. But there's the demand. The demand is there. So it's not like a business where you don't know if there's going to be any customers. If you've got a reputable, valid business, you will have customers. I mean, there are a lot of, places where you can take your kids. Here in Los Lunas, it's not necessarily viewed as being reputable, but if you start you've got all the background, you got your act together, you can do it from your home. There are a lot of home-based daycare centers, and I think if you knew what you were doing and got your ducks in a row, you can start one without too much trouble. But you have to you have to learn. I mean, you don't just start a daycare center, but if you did, there is demand. For example, accounting. We have somebody in our development who does accounting out of her house. I know that because I've advertised her tax preparation service to my email list. My accountant works out of her house. I deal with her. I mean, I visited her once or twice to go over taxes, and after that, it's all electronic back and forth. But she works out of her house.
yeah.
So
Well, I think, and a good point that indirectly that you're making is that part of what could do would be to try to find
Yes.
where there are opportunities
Yeah.
for startup
Demand.
businesses.
yes.
Opportunities and demand.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So
if that's-
maybe we can try in the future, try to
Okay.
determine that a little bit better, what businesses are needed
Right.
and who has the ability to serve. And Dave, I know, must encounter quite a few people coming through
Oh, yeah.
with ideas.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Well, bad ideas.
of some right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, bad ideas, right?
so,
Jim,
I don't have any
Yes.
ideas.
No, they have
Maybe
that.
you have that.
What I mean is they have.
I don't associate with people with that.
Give me a hard time.
Gentlemen?
You already do this as,
Yeah,
as advice and problem solving about things that just come. For instance, I have to order stuff now to sell, and I'm all new to this. So I order some stuff from China, and I'm a shoestring thing. So I sell some stuff, I go buy some stuff to have more stuff to sell. So I get this order from China, and they don't ship it. So what am I going to do?
they didn't ship it?
They haven't shipped it.
Oh, haven't shipped it.
So I basically PayPal, and I called PayPal, okay, so this is what they said, and what should I do? And PayPal kind of helped, but, it'd be nice locally to say, well,
Yeah,
how do you
suppliers.
handle this kind of thing,
Yeah.
what's smart and stupid to do, and
Well, there are some things that could maybe be brought together, such as insurance, who knows? I don't know what is available that by becoming a member of LiveWork Los Lunas, you have access to certain things. So, and that would be interesting to talk to whoever it is, purchasing agents and other sorts of things. Might even be that there could be a buyer's group that if we knew enough people that were buying something.
Well, just as a kind of a plug for one of our little offshoots of the SBDC, we have a organization called IBA, the International Business Accelerator. And what they do is they facilitate international trade. And they work very heavily with all the maquiladoras over in Juarez. If you've got a product here that they're buying over there, and you don't know that they are, they will facilitate the transfer and the collection of the funds and the transfer of the goods, and it's all free. It's all part of the
And
service.
what is this called again?
The IBA, and I will get you.
I want to talk to you about China.
Yes.
Yeah, the SBA is really big in exporting.
Yes.
This is the SBA's year for exporting.
Well,
They are
and-
really pushing.
And New Mexico is in the top 5 states in the country as far as an increase in international trade. We are really shining, and a lot of it has to do with this IBA organization. And Jerry Pacheco is the head of it, and he writes a column in
The
Sunday's.
Business Outlook?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have an interest in, even an obscure interest, like, gee, I don't know, I'm more interested in that, I'll give you my card, and then you contact me, and I will get you Jerry's contact information. He's a great guy to work with, very personable, and will go out of his way to help you, particularly in the corridor down there.
Is it free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Price is right.
Price is right.
The price is
Price is
right
right.
with the resources. Most of them are
And-
free or very low cost.
So, anything else? I think we're getting dang close. The next meeting, it's already on the calendar,
April 25th.
April 25th.
Okay.
So we're gonna try to get a little bit ahead of the curve, let you guys know what it is. Please bring more people with you, April 25th, if you can be here. We don't know what the topic is yet, but we'll come up with something. What we want to keep doing is bringing you content. Hopefully you thought tonight was worthwhile, and we'll just keep bringing you more interesting things about home-based and mobile work and so forth.
How close are we to having an office space for this organization or those things?
That's what you get for coming late.
Sorry, traffic, it was traffic.
We're
Yeah, Jim,
gonna,
answer that question, Jim.
you talk about office space for
Talking
the
about
organization?
LiveWork.
You've talked before.
Six Center, the
Oh,
Success Center.
well,
Or what do you want to call it, yeah?
there's two
Success
things. I
Center.
mean, the Success Center is, the thought was that we might be able to use one of the spaces upstairs
Yeah.
and put that together rather quickly until we outgrow it and then move someplace else.
Right.
But they're also expanding here, so it could just be that it expands right along with phase 2 of here. So that's really.
We're speaking with the administration next Tuesday, with the village administrator and Michael Jaramillo. So we have to go through that step first before we do it. So it's in the works.
You can influence Michael.
Yeah, I
What's
talk
that?
to them all the time.
I know.
Yes,
No
definitely.
truth that will
Anything
walk
else?
out of your garage.
Hey, might be very.
I mean, I think, I'd like to see more special, some more, I mean, some of these topics you brought, like business insurance, if you had a session on business insurance. You know, something specific where you have some expertise. But part of the problem is getting people to come to these meetings, and it's not your fault. I mean, the more, I mean, for example, you should use a Noticias page, Ralph, to get the word out about this meeting.
Ah.
I mean,
There
I brought,
isn't
I,
a Noticias page anymore.
well, it's published less often on paper, it's shorter, but, and I got something I wanted them to, for April 13th, that they haven't put in the paper yet. It is small, yes, but it does exist, but it is an avenue to get the word out. And they will publish on page 2 a lot of times,
Talk to me
and up, like,
a year ago.
for this meeting, they would have published it Saturday on page 2. Sometimes they publish
Yeah,
certain
I know.
items
I-
that give them
Well, we'll
preference.
start pulling together where are the
think
places
it's
to
time.
share the information.
Yeah.
There's also the
Facebook,
Facebook
see that?
page
Facebook,
of
yeah,
when.
we can look at marketing,
Remember in Los
getting the
Lunas
word out.
when?
Yeah,
They've got
flyers. See,
1,400
different
members.
flyers too. I mean, there's places you can put flyers, like the library,
Think about it. I mean, I've
the
been
Chamber of
thinking about it,
Commerce,
so I
the,
need to
Yeah, we'll begin our.
Yeah, we're
the-
gonna look at getting the word out.
I mean, I think some people that
Meeting.
should be in these meetings who aren't, and you can't force them.
Well, you can't.
And I think that if they were here, then they'd realize, oh, this is very informative, but you can't make them.
Right.
I mean,
But
there's a lot of-
we'll also probably be playing a little bit with the time. We talked about that not everybody can make the 6 o'clock, you know, so can we have once in a while something during the day or, you know, however
yeah.
that works. And
Jim, you did a great job.
Yes.
Jim, you are awesome.
Thank you, Jim.
Wonderful job. Thank
So we'll just keep moving this thing along.
Look, it's moving. You got more people I expect.
Oh, that's good.
You know, I
No any
you.
bad.
had a
That's great.
question for you.
Send them down.
Ralph, it works. It works.
Thanks for your support. You've always supported me.
At least I don't have to financially support you.